Good afternoon, everybody. It's Jesse with Schoolcraft Family Farmstead. I'm going to head down across the creek and do a little bush hogging with this John Deere 4000 diesel. Talk a little bit about it. It actually belongs to the guy that my uncle works for. Uncle Larry works for Scott up at Haltom Equipment, the Coyote dealership up in Mooresville. And he had this 4000, or has this 4000, and I'll be honest with you, I don't really know why he brought it down here. He said he wanted to work it a little bit, pull a disc when it was planting time, and whatever else he wanted to do with it, and he just left it here. So it's been here for a few years now, and we've used it primarily, I would say we use it to rake hay, but I've been doing a little bush hogging. I got a bug on my hand. Been doing a little bush hogging at a distant cousin of ours across the creek, and I'll show you what we're doing there. But let me show you the 4000 a little bit first. This is a pretty clean tractor. It's obviously been repainted, but it's in nice shape. It's got a decent amount of hours on it, 70, I think it's getting close to 7,200 hours. But they made these 4000s from 69 to 72, so they made them 4 years, 69, 70, 71, and 72. It was almost, as my dad phrases it, it was a knockoff 4020, because they used the same engine as the 4020, the 404 diesel, but the 4000 was about 1,000 pounds lighter than a 4020. And it has a smaller rear axle, and you'll see there's a 4020 right there. It's an older one, but that's 4020. I'll show you some differences though. The 4000 doesn't have some of the little options, the bells and whistles, that a 4020 has either. And like I said, I'll show you a couple of examples here in a minute. But smaller rear axle, about 1,000 pounds lighter, but with the same engine. And this one's in pretty good shape, like I mentioned, and it's been here for a few years. So 69 though was the first year that this series of tractors went to the side console system for the hydraulic levers. I'll show you what I mean by that here in just a second. Some of you may already know this, but 69 was the first year for that. The 4020s, they did the same thing on this series of tractors, but they came out with this 4000 for the first time in 69. So they did not use them, or they did not make them when they were the original style of hydraulic levers, where they had them on the dash. That one, the 4020, I'll have to look at the serial number. I believe it's a 65, or it might be a 65 model year. But they started making the 4020s in 64. They made the 4010s in from 60 or 61. I think it was 61 through 63, or the 10 series. That was the new generation, the new style of tractor after the 2 cylinders. They came out with the 4-cylinder and 6-cylinder engines, and that was in 61, the first year they started making those, I believe. And I believe 60 was the last year for the classic 2-cylinder engines that they put in the first John Deere tractors for the first close to 40 years, or maybe even over 40 years. I know they made the Model D starting in 1923, but they had older ones before that, like the Waterloo Boy and whatnot. But regardless, this new style of tractor first came out in 61 with the 10 series, the 3010s and the 4010s. And then in 64, they started with the 20 series with a little bit bigger engines. But I'll show you some examples here on this 4000. You'll notice it's pretty bare bones back here. And I'll show you the difference on the 4020s, or the 4020 over there. This one's a 1970 model as well, so this was the second year that they made the 4000. But you can see right here to the right of the seat, there's the hydraulic levers and the 3-point hitch levers, the one that's closest to the seat. There's the hydraulic levers. That's how I raise and lower the bush hog here. I believe this is a 10-foot bush hog, if I remember correctly. John Deere bush hog. But we've got it plugged into the outside hydraulic lever for raising and lowering the bush hog. This has 2 remotes for the hydraulics in case you ever need them. So yeah, this is the 4000. Smaller rear axle, about 1,000 pounds lighter than the 4020. It's got 540 and 1,000 PTO, as you can see there as well. This bush hog's a 540, got a 540 PTO. You can also see here on the 4000, since it's a side console right there, makes it a lot easier too to work the hydraulics with the console over there. But here's the dash over here on this side. It's got the PTO lever right here. So when I first go to start the bush hog, I'll raise it upward. And but you'll see on the 4020, the hydraulic levers are going to be right here. It also has 2 remotes. Some of them only had 1, but both of these have 2 sets of hydraulic remotes. Let me see here. 70, what did I say earlier? It's over 7,300 hours now. Since we used a little bit for raking hay this year, I've just done a little bit of bush hogging now, probably just a few hours worth. Guess I sound like a little bit of a brat here, but one thing I do wish this had here in this 4000 is a cup holder. I don't have anything for my water. Well, speaking of which, alrighty, let's try this again. I guess my headphones will hold it for a minute. Takes the hydraulics a minute to wake up on this thing. Not really sure why, but it's always been like that since it's been around here. You'll hear the 3-point hitch start jerking up here in just a second. Yep, speaking of which, here it comes. All right, should be good to go now. Make sure the mower's up all the way. Yep, all good. Ooh, get my hand out of the way. Maybe. There we go. All right, here we go. This one's also a synchro shift, like a lot of these style of tractors are. Sixth gear. There's the throttle, of course. Lose my water again if I'm not careful. job. Cows are picking over some freshly cut stuff there. Now it's time for me to head home. Nice evening too. Wanted to give you an update on my mystery manure pile plants as well. Don't really think there's so much of a mystery anymore. You can see I just sprinkled some 7 on them. I mentioned in another video or two of mine that I think we had some squash bugs that were kind of chewing on some of the leaves, but it's gotten huge, as you can see here, taking up most of the manure pile now. Need to get it some rain, not some rain, oh my gosh. Need to get it some water. Some rain would be nice. I haven't had to water it a whole lot, to be honest with you, because the rain has been a lot more consistent here in the month of July, but it's been several days now since we've had any consistent rain, and it's been pretty hot and humid too. So you can see it's kind of pitiful looking in some areas. Some of the leaves are wilting a bit, but you can see there's some, I'm assuming they're pumpkins. Those are about the biggest ones that I've found so far. Here's another one, kind of hiding among the leaves, making sure I don't step on any. Right there. We have several coming on. You can see some other blooms there. It will be future pumpkins. There's some more. So I might have some pumpkins to sell. And also, we won't have to buy any this year, which will be nice, especially since I had no idea this was going to be coming up. I've got to keep backing up to get the whole thing. There we go. Now I've got all the vines, and it's still growing out in that direction right there. Pretty neat though, that I didn't even intend for this to grow, and here it comes out of the manure pile. But hopefully I'll get a good garden going next year. I wanted to this year and just didn't do it, didn't get around to it. Have had too much going on, but I'm hoping to put more effort into getting one going next year. That's all for today. If you would, please like and subscribe. Channel's been growing quite a bit, and I greatly appreciate that. It's especially in this last 10 days or so since I last posted a video about our first cutting of hay. I think we have just one little place left to bale, and then we're done down toward Paragon. We might, Uncle Larry is mentioning that he might have picked up another location up toward Mooresville, which will be really nice because we're in short supply this year. First cutting, like I mentioned in some of my other videos, has been about 2/3 of what it usually is. So we don't have much here at home, and actually I think the stuff that's here at home is pretty much all sold. Just have to get rid of it. But he said the location up toward Mooresville might be 40 to 50 acres, which would be a lot of hay, which would be much needed. So if you wouldn't mind, give me a like on this video and a subscription, and then you can click the notification bell so that you know when I'm posting new videos as well. My most recent video, this is just crazy to me. I posted it 10 days ago, and I think last I checked it was around 7,500 views, which I know is a small amount for some channels, but for me, only having done this for a few months and only having a few videos posted and having close to 250 subscribers now, I don't know what did it. I don't know how it happened on that most recent video, but pretty cool. And hopefully we can continue to grow and make something out of this. It's been pretty neat seeing the subscribers and the viewing hours jump here in the last 10 days or so since my most recent video. But we'll see you next time. Take care. Thank you.